You wake up one day in your 30s, you've been to university, you've got the job, you've got the career, you've got the car and finance, you've got the nice house, you've got the mortgage, you're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week and you're trying to get to the next promotion. And on the face of it, you look like you're doing okay. But yet, in the back of your mind, every single day, you regret every decision you've made, which has led you to this point. And this is a modern trap of living, which so many people find themselves in. In this video, what we're going to do, we're going to explain the trap of modern living. We're going to detail on how this causes us pain. And most importantly, we're going to start to discuss how, using radical honesty, we can actually get out of this and how uprooting your life in your 30s may be the best decision that you ever make. If you're new here, my name is Jay Dartmoor. I'm the founder of the Reclaim Life Project, which you can join now via the link in the video description. And on this channel, we teach people how to build a life that they actually love and one which their job cannot own. So when we actually look at modern day, we see that people are in more debt than ever. We are constantly fed advertisements. And the thing with adverts is they elicit pain, they elicit an urgency. So we are constantly being fed things to say, you are not enough. And you will be enough if you buy the new thing. Well, this then forms a really serious trap which people fall into. Because if we take the example of, take a car, for example. You get a car, which, this is obviously a new case, you get a car which is £400 a month. Now, of course, a new car's great, isn't it? It's shiny, it's cool. Why do people buy new shiny things? Well, one, it feels good. Number two, status. And number three, we feel like we're moving up in the world. You'll have to excuse my handwriting, I am left-handed. Now, when we ruthlessly, honestly look at this, and you're possibly in this situation yourself, or you're considering buying a new car, for example, it feels good. Well, that's fleeting. That doesn't last very long. And eventually that nice new car, nice new shiny car just becomes a car and it just becomes an expense. Something called buyer's remorse happens where we go, initially we wanted this thing because we've been sold to, been advertised to tell us that we're not good enough. If only you got this new thing, it would make everything feel much better. And you work really hard. You work really hard in that soul-sucking office job, what you really, really don't like. So treat yourself to a new car. Treat yourself. That's what they say. So, but then after a while, you start to load the car. It becomes another car and you just drive that new car to the job which you don't like. And we're going to talk about the actual expense. And it's not £400 a month. It's not the price tag. It's your time. And we'll get onto that in just a second. Status. People buy new things because they want to look good to other people. It's for the benefit of other people. They don't have to work for it though. They don't have to sacrifice their time in order to afford these things. And plus, status, people do not care about you and they're not talking about you as much as you actually think. So status, nil. Load of shit. Moving up in the world. And this is the most important thing because this is how we are conditioned to be. When we grow up in our 20s and we go to university and we get a job, we get a career, we're told that, well, if you sign the successes, you get the big house and you get the new promotion and you get the new car and you go on a nice holiday and you get the designer clothes and you get the fancy watch and you get all this other stuff. And it's all to do with more consumption. Let's have this, let's get that, let's get these new things. Because that's what successful people do. They move up in the world. This is the biggest lie ever told. And I'm going to explain exactly why that is. So using the same example of a car, £400 a month, what does that actually look like in real terms? If you earn, for example, £15 an hour, after tax and national insurance contributions, you're probably looking about £11.25 an hour, that's take home. That means in order to afford this, you are spending 35 hours working a job you might not necessarily enjoy to simply buy and afford the car, which then takes you to that role, takes you to that place of work. Most of the other time, the car just sits outside, not doing anything. And if we extrapolate this and times it, 35 hours over the space of a 4-year lease period, which generally that's how long a car period is, and also you're not necessarily going to own the car at the end of it. Say if this costs you £20,000, it equates something to about 43 full weeks of your life. So nearly an entire year spent at work just to afford the car in order to pay to then go to work. And this is a lie what we're told. We're told that this means success. This is just what people do. You buy the new car, you buy the new fancy thing. Well, what if there's another way to live? What if instead of sacrificing 43 weeks of our life to buy something we don't actually own, There's another way to do it. What if instead of looking at the social status and what other people thought of us, what about if we just bought a used car, for example? Make a different choice. Well, then that way we own the car and we free up 35 hours minimum of our life to then build a business, get healthy, relationships, memories. But the problem is that we're conditioned to call people who don't want the fancy stuff, who don't want this, who don't want that, oh, well, you're unambitious. Well, what are you still driving that car for? That car's, it's an old car, get this new car. And when you turn around and go, no, actually, because I value my time over belongings and being constricted and being trapped in a career, which I may one day want to leave, people call you lazy. And that is a lot of the reason. It's a social conditioning and the social reason why we stay in careers and we purchase things in order to keep up with other people. But the person who says, no, I'm not going to do that, the people who do it are actually envious of them, because the person who doesn't buy into the financial trap of keeping up with the Joneses and purchasing things because of how it looks to other people and understanding that this fleeting desire will ultimately lead to suffering. People who do it are actually envious of them. Look how much time he gets to spend with his kids. He's dropped his hours. Where we're working 5 days a week, he's only working 3 days a week, and he's off in the Lake District spending time with his family. He's building a business on his days off. He's building a career which will eventually allow him financial freedom. He's in the gym every day getting healthy. And most people get to the point in their 30s when they have to make a choice. Because you've already probably been in a career for a little while, you've already started a family, you've already started building this life around you. The older you get before you decide to make this shift in how you live, the harder it becomes. What usually happens is that people go, I hate my job, I want to leave, but due to financial reasons, I can't. Now, when we talk about financial reasons, we're not just talking about bills, the gas, the rent, the electricity, the food shop. We're not talking about the necessities. We're not talking about the unnegotiable bills. A lot of the time they're talking about, well, I won't be able to afford my big house. I won't be able to afford my nice car. I won't be able to afford my 2 holidays a year. And then you've got subscriptions, fancy phone. You get the idea. A lot of the time, if people just focus on this stuff over here, they could probably change their career and change their job. Yes, of course, things might be a little bit tight, but we are saying that for the sake of financial reasons in relation to the big house, the nice car, the couple of holidays a year, the things which say you are successful, people are staying in a career which they're very much trapped in and they don't enjoy. And this is another big thing. You only get one life. You weren't born to pay bills and die. This is the problem here. Now, of course, if we then reduce our hours, it means we get to spend more time doing the things we actually love. And again, this is what the Reclaim Life project is about. It's about taking people, putting them through a system where they learn brutal honesty with themselves, they decide what they want to do with their life, and give them a roadmap on how to get there, and also how to become the most physical, mentally strong, and purpose-led version of themselves. So when you're in your 30s, you really have to make the decision, am I doing what I'm doing now for money, or am I doing what I'm doing for happiness? Because another thing what people fall into the trap of is they think, okay, when I get this next promotion, then I'll be able to start living. After this key moment in the future, I'll then be able to start living my life. And what happens? A year goes by, 5 years go by, 10 years go by. You find you're still stuck in the same situation. People go, I don't like what I'm doing for my career. I don't like what I'm doing for my job. I'll get a promotion, or I'll stay in the job because it's better than the devil you know. And they waste away so many years of their life waiting for retirement. Or they turn around and say, well, I'm going to go for a promotion. Or they get a promotion, and then as a result of the extra pay, they then upgrade their house, they upgrade their car, they upgrade their finances and tie themselves into something which essentially means they are a slave. They are doing something what they do not want to do, and they don't have a choice in being able to do it. And I know people who are earning 6 figures a year who hate every second of it. But because they've invested so much time into the career which they now have, they don't want to step off and try something else. So what do? These people in particular, they medicate. They are so unhappy with the situation they found themselves in because of the luxuries that they've built around themselves, rather than prioritizing freedom, rather than seeing money as a tool for freedom and instead have used it as a money and tool for consumption. They are now locked into a career which they utterly loathe every single day, to the point they now have to medicate themselves and they have to drug themselves up to stop feeling depressed, to stop feeling so anxious, to stop feeling awful. So now they're not even living. They're basically surviving day to day, numb, because the medication stops them feeling anything, and they are just going through the motions. And that is not a way to live. That is how you live as a zombie. Now, very quickly, I just want to touch on something called the sunk cost fallacy. I'm not entirely sure if that's how you spell fallacy, but the sunk cost fallacy is as follows. You spend so many years doing one thing that you continue to do that because of the amount of time you've spent doing it. Does that make sense? So take a marriage, for example. I've been with my partner for 10 years. We've got married, we have 2 kids together, we have a house together, we have a car, we have a dog, and we hate each other. We loathe each other. We cannot stand to be in the same room as each other. Or you've been in it for 20 years. A lot of people will stay in that same relationship. They'll stay in that unhappy home simply because of the time they've invested into it. When we extrapolate that into work, we go, I hate my career, I hate my job. I've spent 20 years in this job, so I may as well do another 10 or 15 because then I can retire and then I finally get to start living. What if instead of doing that, you started to pay off any debt you have, you didn't upgrade your car, you maybe even downsized your house in order to free up more time because, like we said, the monetary cost of an item is directly resulted in the time it takes for you selling your time for money in order to pay for that. And rather than fall deeper into the trap of what society says you should do, which is consume in order to appear successful, you reduce your hours, you change career when the time suits properly, when you're in a financial position to do so, and you start to rebuild a life from the ground up which you actually enjoy. And it may take a while, it may take years, but the point is, would you rather reduce your outgoings now and spend more time doing something what you love and building something in the background to eventually be able to do that full time and live a life which you actually enjoy and love before it's too late? Or would you rather keep going down the consumerism path, the path which people say you have to go down to show that you're successful, in that you will continue for 15 to 20 years in a career which no longer serves you? And that's a question what you have to ask yourself before it is too late. And trust me, there are plenty of people who leave it way too late, so they're unable to make that change and make a life which they actually control and enjoy. So if you enjoyed this content, make sure you subscribe and leave a comment. Click the link in the description of this video and join the Reclaim Life Project now and start living life on your own terms before it's too late.